Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Telegraph Herald More Than the Score. I'm sports editor Jim Leitner, and I'm joined by Tim O'Neill, our top football reporter. And it's football season, Tim, and obviously we got started a little bit last week with the Wisconsin schools, but we're full-fledged, ready to go this weekend with the Iowa schools in Illinois starting. Tell me about this week and how excited you are for the first week of full football.
Well, I'm really excited because it's basically a holiday on Friday when all these teams get going. And it should be a really exciting week. We got a few games at home, a few more games on the road, and boy, it's just nice to really have the season back.
Obviously, the city football games take place at Dalzell Field, and that's going to be busy pretty much every Friday night. This week we have Dubuque Senior at home. Tell me about their home opener and what kind of challenges the Rams face in their home opener.
Well, they're going to be hosting Linn-Mar, which is always a quality team. They bring a diverse offense, and it should be a really good game. Senior has a lot of playmakers to replace, but talking with Coach Dale Plessel and some of the players, they've had some young underclassmen step up and fill in some of those roles. Defense is going to be a strong part for the Rams early as that offense catches up, but they're pretty excited over there on Clark Drive for their season coming up.
Okay, Western Dubuque, which had a really nice run in Class 4A the last couple years, is back down in Class 3A this year. They open up this weekend at home against Clinton. How excited are they out in Epworth about the Bobcats season and about being back down in Class 3A?
Well, the optimism is definitely there again. You know, you mentioned they had a good run in 4A. They won 12 games over 2 years in Class 4A, including a share of a district title and a playoff berth. But now they're back in a very tough Class 3A. Their district includes Marion, defending state champions Cedar Rapids, Xavier, obviously Western Dubuque, and then Wahlert and Maquoketa are in there as well. It's going to be a tough schedule for them. They're very excited. They got some quality weapons. They got a pair of Division I baseball recruits battling for the quarterback job. I know you're very familiar with Calvin Harris and Sam Goodman. So they feel very comfortable with whoever they got there. And then the receiving core, Justin Penner is very excited about the receivers they have. They got a couple of tall juniors, including an all-state receiver from last year in Drake George, who needs just 47 yards to break the all-time career receiving record, at which point he would hold every receiving record in school history. And they open up against Clinton, another team dropping down from 4A, so that should be an exciting one to see where the Bobcats measure up this year.
Now, actually, Western Dubuque is still a Class 4A size school, but the reclassification, they went down from 48 schools to 42. So the top 42 schools in Iowa are classified as Class 4A, and the other ones bumped down to Class 3A, which is exactly what happened with Clinton and Western Dubuque. Staying in the city here, also we have Wahlert and Dubuque Hempstead. They're obviously opening up this weekend as well. Tell me about the games for those two schools as they embark on this season.
Well, Hempstead's going to be on the road down in Davenport, taking on Davenport North, and that should be another good one. Seems like a common phrase here with these first week games. We got a bunch of good ones. Hempstead's got some quality skill players back. Of course, they have some more holes to fill, but they're excited to get that one going against a quality team from the MAC, non-district opponent. And then you mentioned Wahlert. They got about as tough a season opener as you could hope for with a road trip to West Delaware. This is a team that was in Wallert's district the past couple of seasons, ended Wallert's season in the playoffs a couple of years ago, and just every year has been a very strong program. Wahlert graduated a strong senior class, so obviously they have a bunch of holes to fill, but more strong players coming back, including quarterback Bryce Osterberger, who really improved toward the second half of last year, and so they're hoping to get it going, and I know the Eagles are confident that they can pull an upset and beat West Delaware on Friday.
Rounding out the schools in the county, we mentioned earlier the schools being bumped down because of the reclassification. Both Dyersville, Beckman, and Cascade are going to move down to Class 1A after being pretty good, strong, solid programs in Class 2A for several years. Tell me a little bit about Cascade and Beckman, their openers and what their district play looks like this season.
Well, yeah, it's going to be weird for Cascade going down to 1A from 2A because that's a team that ran the table through the regular season in Class 2A last year. And, once again, fill in those holes lost to graduation. They got a tough rivalry game at home against Monticello, and those teams always play each other very tough, so that should be very exciting. And then Dyersville-Beckman is playing on the road at LaPorte City Union. That's another program that has a strong history. They got a new coach out there in Dyersville, so it'll be interesting to see how that team comes together in the first week.
That should pretty much do it for the preview of week 1 of the Iowa high school football season. Turn to the Telegraph Herald on Saturday morning and telegraphherald.com for complete coverage of all the games. And also late Friday night, we'll have a Facebook Live session with the guys in the office after everything has kind of died down a little bit. Look for that about 11 o'clock at night. Thanks again, and we'll see you next week on Telegraph Herald More Than the Score.